Welcome back to the Kaspa Silver YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the new ASIC miners that have just been released on Bitmain. And there's been some controversy again of these ASIC miners coming onto Kaspa. And I want to kind of discuss it and relay my opinions. By no means am I a professional or a pro when it comes to mining and ASICs and all that. But I do have some opinions just based off of my personal research and what I think how it's gonna affect Kaspa. So to start here, Son of a Tech, which is a bigger YouTube channel that does a lot of mining on different coins, he recently said this on Twitter, saying, "Here's what happens: Bitmain pumps Kaspa price, Bitmain lists pre-sale for KS3, Bitmain mines on machines and delays shipments." Which, this is a pretty big claim, saying that they're gonna just delay the shipments of those. And then Bitmain ships miners and dumps their mined Kaspa and Kaspa tanks like KDA. And honestly, I think comparing Kaspa to KDA is just an honest mistake. And we're going to get into that. But here's some replies from Woofy. This is someone who's one of the admins on the Discord for Kaspa. And saying, making an automatic litter box to grab KDA cat turds faster is not the same as increasing block DAG security by orders of magnitude for Kaspa. One of the big things for Kaspa is the fact that there's actual real utility with Kaspa. There's a planned set goal for what Kaspa's trying to be. It's actually trying to do the currency part when it comes to crypto, and so to compare it with KDA, I think is just a mistake. First off, looking at the price chart, this is just failure. That's plain and simple. This is failure. And mainly it's because, in my opinion, I think proof of works. If you want a proof of work to actually be successful long term, you have to follow Bitcoin fundamentals. When you don't follow Bitcoin fundamentals, you are going to suffer and fail. So, first off, one comparison is the fact that miners on ASIC mining came out on KDA, and so supposedly the same thing kind of happened. We had a pump because of it, and then it eventually dumped and just doesn't recover. It's been around for 3 years now, and just nothing going on for KDA. It's just become a stable coin, in my opinion, for miners to mine some KDA and sell it for Kaspa because they know Kaspa is where it's at. But to compare it, people are worried about ASIC mining, and I would be concerned if, yes, ASIC miners were coming out with only 23% of the supply mined. And this isn't even accounting for like when ASIC mining came out, probably like back here before the pump or something like that. There was probably way less coins mined for KDA. There's only 23% mined still to this day. And also the tokenomics for KDA is just straight up messed up completely. You got platform share, 200 million coins to be emitted over 9 years, and these are coins getting given to like different people on the actual team. And then you have investors, strategic reserve, and contributors, 90 million. These are coins being given to VCs, pre-allocated, coins that are just being sent to people who invested into this early, and then they burn 10 million at launch. Okay, we compare that to Kaspa. First off, we could see that 18 billion is the current supply, and this means that just about 64% of all Kaspa has already been mined. So, GPU miners, you guys had a 64% advantage over ASIC miners. When ASICs come in, it's not that big of a deal. It's only 64% mined. They're going to have about 35% left to go, and this is not even including the fact that when Rust is fully done, Kaspa is going to be able to have multiple blocks per second, which can actually make mining more fair and actually give GPU miners a chance. This might be possible when there's tons of blocks per second, as eventually we're going to get to. I think we're going to start testing at 4 blocks per second, and then eventually go to 30 blocks and eventually 100 blocks per second, which is, in my opinion, totally possible. We can take a look here also with the miner here. You can see here that we got May 16th through 19th is a guess to price for the miner. And then there's going to be a flash sale deposit up to 30 units per customer. May 26th is a rushed purchase only for deposit paid customers, balance and coupons available. May 27th is the KS distribution in the order of the time of deposit paid. And then by August is when the shipping of the units is actually going to start. So ultimately, like, we really won't know what's going to happen to the price in the short term until after August, because Ice River, which is the other company that supposedly has ASICs that people are waiting for their orders to come in, which I think they're supposed to come in next month. We'll see if they're actually legit. Those miners are a lot, they are a lot less efficient than this new miner that's coming out for Kaspa. But we won't really know until after August, in my opinion. And again, I don't think this is gonna affect the price because Kaspa has a lot more going for it. It's not just a coin where people are just trying to buy and sell right away because there's really nothing going on for it. Kaspa is the first block DAG technology. It's trying to be a currency. It's the fastest proof of work on, it's probably the best proof of work ever made. And there's just no one that can compete with Kaspa. This is a long-term project that, in my opinion, that's going to be able to last for decades. ASIC mining is on Bitcoin. I think, in my opinion, if we want to be competitors to Bitcoin, we need ASIC mining. ASIC mining increases security. ASIC mining was on Bitcoin, and they're fine over there. They survived the ASIC mining, and when ASIC miners came out on Bitcoin, there was only 33% of the supply mined when ASIC miners came out on Bitcoin. So Kaspa has 65% of the coins mined already, and ASIC miners are going to come out. I don't really see how ASIC mining is going to affect it that huge in the long term. Short term, maybe a little bit. You know, they got to make their profits. The miners got to sell to make their profits to pay for electricity fees. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. Another thing I want to make sure is cleared up is the fact that ASIC miners does not increase the emission supply. It doesn't make the supply go faster. More coins don't get mined faster. It's still a set supply that's decreasing every single month, which I think is also very unique. We're not decreasing every 4 years like Bitcoin. We're decreasing every month, which has it plays a whole different type of effect on mining. But as you can see here, it's a set emission schedule all the way up to 2037, and it's set. This is not going to go faster just because ASIC miners are going to come online. ASIC miners, in my opinion, are just going to drive up the hash rate like crazy, and then we're going to be proven to be a better proof of work. We're going to have the security is going to be much higher, and it's just, I think, in my opinion, it's just going to be good for Kaspa long term. Comparing this to KDA, I think, is a mistake. KDA is just completely different from Kaspa, just different in everything, in fundamentals and all that. And I think it's just like, when you're really thinking about it, Kaspa, if you watch my origins of Kaspa video, I explained DAG Labs, and Jonathan, when he started DAG Labs and all that, the whole point of DAG Labs was to have ASIC miners, like ASIC mining, at the inception of Kaspa. And so I think after 14 years of research on Jonathan's end, he's gonna he miscalculated how ASICs are gonna affect Kaspa, and that this is just gonna ruin Kaspa. Like, I think that would be really dumb that after 14 years of researching for this coin, he didn't think about ASICs and didn't think about making Kaspa ASIC resistant, which essentially it is. It was ASIC resistance with its type of mining algorithm that it uses, but ASIC resistance is not really a real thing. It's there's always some kind of hardware you could build that could specifically mine a coin more efficiently. That's always going to be a thing. So, like, ultimately, I I trust in Jonathan's research over 14 years. I think it's all good. DAG Labs failed, and ASIC miners were not introduced in the inception of the coin. So 65% of the coins had opportunities to be split around GPU miners, CPU miners, and GPU miners kicked out CPU miners. Those were the first miners, and no one talks about those anymore. And so it's just part of the whole process. ASIC mining is completely part of the plan for Kaspa, and I'm going to show you that right here in their wiki. All right, and here it is. If ASICs is developed, will the team change the algorithm to restrict them? ASICs require a tremendous amount of capital to go from design, tape out, die fabrication to hashboard production, etc. If there was a party that was interested in creating ASICs for Kaspa, it should be welcomed with open arms. In regards to security, ask yourselves this: would a potential malicious actor attack the network with a farm of GPUs or ASICs? Obviously GPUs, as GPUs can be repurposed to different tasks and algos after the attack. If you attack the network with ASICs, you are essentially breaking the utility of the devices and rendering them useless. As an ASIC is application specific to a single algo, it comes at full capital loss to inflict an attack on a network in which those ASICs are only useful for. So ASICs are meant to be on Kaspa, especially for a fast proof of work coin that's going to be doing fast transactions. We need ASICs so that we can have higher and better security, just like Bitcoin. And so if we're going to be competitors with Bitcoin, we want to be following Bitcoin fundamentals. I think we need to follow how Bitcoin took its path through ASICs and it survived and it's fine. Bitcoin's number one still. And I think Casper's primed to try to become number two, maybe even number one day. That's hugely optimistic. We don't really know what the future holds. But all I do know is I think this is going to be a way higher, better price in the future because of the technology behind it and what they're actually trying to solve, which is the trilemma. And solving the trilemma has been attempted with many cryptocurrencies at the cost of decentralization, and Kaspa is here staying decentralized and they're not becoming centralized to solve the trilemma. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys are new around here, consider leaving a like on this video and subscribing to the channel so that you guys can stay informed about Kaspa. And as always, don't be average, be different.